I'm Megan Brooks. I was 29 then, working as a communications assistant in Seattle. I'd known him, Daniel Foster, for almost 5 years. We met through mutual friends, drifted into something undefined, and stayed there longer than either of us admitted we should have. Not officially together. Not officially apart. Something in between that felt safe to me. To him, it meant everything. I didn't see that clearly at first. I liked having him close. He was consistent. Attentive. He remembered details I forgot about myself. He showed up when I moved apartments, when my car broke down, when my confidence dipped. He never pressured me. Never demanded labels. And because he never asked, I assumed he was fine where we were. That assumption was my mistake. The night it ended wasn't dramatic. We were sitting in a quiet bar after work, sharing fries we didn't really want. He looked tired. Not physically, emotionally. Like someone who had been waiting too long for permission to hope. I need to know where this is going, he said. His voice was calm, but his hands were clenched around his glass. I felt a tightening in my chest. Not fear. Guilt. I told him what I'd been rehearsing in my head for weeks. I care about you, I said. But I don't think I can give you what you want. Maybe, we should just be friends. I expected questions. Negotiation. Maybe disappointment mixed with understanding. Instead he went very still. He nodded once. Okay. He paid the bill. Walked me to my car. Hugged me briefly, politely. Then stepped back. I hope you have a good life, Megan, he said. And that was it. The next morning he was gone from my phone. Social media. Group chats. He didn't announce it. He didn't explain. He didn't lash out or try to make me feel bad. He simply removed himself completely. At first I was offended. How could he just disappear like that? After everything? I told myself it was immature. That adults could stay friends. That his reaction proved he'd only ever valued me romantically. But as the days passed, something uncomfortable surfaced. Silence. No good morning texts. No check-ins. No presence quietly orbiting my life. I realized how much emotional space he'd been holding for me, space I'd accepted without committing to anything in return. The betrayal wasn't his disappearance. It was my realization that I'd been benefiting from his devotion while keeping my distance intact. That just friends sounded kind only because it protected me from loss. We ran into each other once, 2 months later, at a mutual friend's birthday dinner. He was polite. Distant. He spoke to me the way you speak to someone you used to know well and no longer do. How have you been? He asked. Good, I said. You? Good, he replied. That was the entire conversation. No bitterness. No longing. Just closure I hadn't earned. On the way home I cried. Not because I missed him the way he'd missed me, but because I finally understood what I'd asked of him. To stay. To watch. To adjust his feelings so I wouldn't have to confront mine. The turning point came quietly after that. I stopped framing his exit as abandonment. I saw it for what it was, self-respect. He didn't punish me. He protected himself. I sent him one message a week later. Not to reopen anything. Not to ease my conscience. Just honesty. I understand now why you left. I'm sorry I didn't see you clearly before. He never replied. And somehow that felt right. The resolution wasn't reconciliation. It was growth. I learned that boundaries don't always look gentle. Sometimes they look like someone choosing distance instead of self-erasure. I've been more careful since then. With words. With hearts. With the difference between comfort and commitment. Here's the lesson I carry now. When you ask someone to downgrade their feelings so you can keep them in your life, don't be surprised if they choose to leave instead. Walking away doesn't always mean they didn't care. Sometimes, it means they cared enough not to stay where they'd always be wanting more.